The Jack the Ripper Case, 1888. The Jack the Ripper case is one of the most mysterious and gruesome serial murder cases in criminal history. This case took place in 1888 in the Whitechapel district of London, England, and the killer was never caught or identified. Jack the Ripper has become a global symbol of fear and intrigue, and his story continues to be discussed to this day.
Key events of the case.
The Jack the Ripper murders occurred between August and November 1888 in the impoverished East End of London, particularly in Whitechapel, an area notorious for poverty, crime, and lack of security. Jack the Ripper's victims were often prostitutes living in desperate conditions. Although there were several suspected victims of Jack the Ripper, 5 are officially confirmed to have been killed by him. These victims are often referred to as the canonical 5. Mary Ann Nichols, 42, was murdered on August 31, 1888. She was found with her throat cut and multiple stab wounds to her abdomen. Annie Chapman, 47, was killed on September 8, 1888. Her throat was deeply cut, and her abdomen was opened, with some internal organs removed. Elizabeth Stride, 45, was murdered on September 30, 1888. She was found with a cut throat but was not disemboweled like the other victims. Many believe Jack the Ripper was interrupted during this attack. Catherine Eddowes, 46, was also killed on September 30, 1888, just hours after Elizabeth Stride. Like the others, her throat was cut, and her abdomen was opened, with organs removed. Mary Jane Kelly, 25, was murdered on November 9, 1888. This was the most horrific murder, as her body was brutally mutilated in her lodging room. Jack the Ripper typically attacked at night, targeting prostitutes. His method involved slitting the victim's throat and then disemboweling them, particularly targeting the abdomen. In some cases, he removed internal organs, suggesting that the killer had some knowledge of anatomy or surgery. The injuries were inflicted quickly and with precision, indicating that the killer had skill or experience in cutting or dissection.
Jack the Ripper's letters.
One of the things that made this case even more notorious were the letters supposedly sent by Jack the Ripper to the police and newspapers. In these letters, the killer appeared to take pleasure in his crimes and often mocked the police for their inability to catch him. Some famous letters include the Dear Boss letter. This is the most famous letter, in which the killer referred to himself as Jack the Ripper, a name that the media and public adopted thereafter. In the letter, he also threatened to cut off his next victim's ear. The From Hell letter. This strange and terrifying letter was sent with half of a kidney from one of the victims. The killer wrote that he had eaten the other half. While many people believe these letters were genuine, there are ongoing doubts about whether they were really from the killer or from an imposter.
Theories about Jack the Ripper.
Over the past century, many theories have been proposed to identify Jack the Ripper. Some prominent suspects include Montague John Druitt, an English lawyer and teacher who committed suicide shortly after the murder of Mary Jane Kelly. Some investigators at the time believed he was Jack the Ripper. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber who lived in Whitechapel at the time of the murders. In 2014, a DNA analysis of a shawl found at the scene of Catherine Eddowes' murder indicated a link to Kosminski. Prince Albert Victor, also known as the Duke of Clarence, grandson of Queen Victoria. A theory suggested that he was involved in the murders for political or mental health reasons, but there is no concrete evidence to support this.
The end and legacy.
The last murder attributed to Jack the Ripper occurred in November 1888. After that, the killings suddenly stopped without explanation. Although many suspects were questioned, no one was ever convicted of these murders. Jack the Ripper left behind a horrifying legacy, becoming a symbol of mystery and brutality in popular culture. His image has appeared in countless books, films, and even academic studies on crime. The Jack the Ripper case remains one of the greatest unsolved criminal mysteries in world history. We've only just begun to turn the pages of mystery. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in our journey to uncover the world's most intriguing stories with RiddleBox.